How are you, Wells?
I'm doing pretty well, thanks. Thank you
Sorry
for.
about that. I have to postpone this.
Oh, it's all good. I get it. It happens.
uh, so your questions are very interesting, actually. It looks like you're gonna take my interview now.
Yeah, I was very curious when I came across your LinkedIn. I was like, oh wow, this is fascinating. And
Yeah.
when I saw some companies you looked at, you were working at, I was like, wow, you bounced from LG,
Mhm.
Rolls Royce, and Lockheed Martin. I was like, that seems very interesting. I started looking into it a little more, and yeah,
Cool.
where we are
So
now.
Solomon, let's do one. Let's do it. So why didn't you introduce yourself? Tell me what you do, who you are, and all that, and then just start taking my interview. Whatever you want to ask, you can repeat those questions which you have sent, and I will uh, answer with the best of my ability, and hopefully that helps you. Okay,
All right, sounds good.
let's
Yeah,
go.
so a little bit about me. I'm a junior at Case Western, studying mechanical engineering with a minor in business management. Um, I have 3 years of experience, like internship experience, working at a company called Engineered Material Systems. A lot of what I did there was testing, failure mode testing for electronic grade adhesives. A lot of shear stress. I developed some new methods and all that there. But reason I got into mechanical engineering was, I wanted to become more of a designer. Um, I wanted to like build something.
Mm.
And so, there's three kind of things I was really into. It was the automotive, uh, and then the defense sector. So like mainly like drones. I think drones would be an amazing thing to work on. Um,
Mhm.
and then consumer products. And consumer products are kind of why I chose the business management route because there's a bunch of courses on like understanding what people want and kind of
Cus-
understand business.
customer thinks, basically.
Yeah. Like microeconomics, that was very fascinating class that I took.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
it's I have took that. Really good.
yeah. And so that's one of the reasons I did the minor. And so right now I'm kind of trying to, I'm in the searching for an internship in kind of those three areas at the moment.
Cool. Understand. So you are from Ohio, or you're from?
Yeah. So I'm born and raised Western Ohio, just outside of Columbus.
Oh, okay. And you didn't go to Ohio State?
No, it's funny you ask because I actually never, I didn't tour the campus at all when I was looking for colleges. Um, I mean, initially, so I played basketball at Case as well. And initially I wanted to play basketball. So it's like three schools I was looking at was Case, Grove City College, and then Rose Holman. Um, and,
Mm.
and
They have a good basketball program here.
it's pretty solid. Yeah. Um, it's a really competitive conference with like U Chicago, NYU, Washington.
Hmm.
Um,
So you play at college level, or you just play, or you play
yeah. I
college?
play for the varsity team.
Oh, nice, man. I can
Yeah.
get free tickets from you then. Just kidding.
Yeah.
Okay,
um,
great. Well, shoot questions to me, and we can go from there, whatever you want to ask, okay? Because
yeah.
this is your turn to ask my questions. Usually I am the one who asks questions.
All right. Sounds good.
Yeah, go ahead.
So the first one, the first one I sent you, about the three industries I was looking into, aerospace, automotive, and consumer products and technology. So I was just curious if you found it difficult to kind of switch between because, as I mentioned, I'm kind of worried that if I get into one path, I'll be stuck on that path. Like if I get in defense, I'll be stuck kind of in the defense sector, and so on with the other ones. So I'm just interested to hear if you found it kind of difficult bouncing
Sure,
between
sure,
them.
sure. Yeah, I would say you are absolutely right when you say that.
Mhm.
That if you work in a sector for a longer period of time, you will get stuck for sure.
Okay. Mhm.
Um, to do that, to not to avoid that, I would say, and it's very common nowadays, is I would say within 5 years, try to move around.
Mhm.
Don't if you, yes, that is absolutely true. If you will get stuck, in the company for more than 5 years or so, you will be labeled like that.
Hmm. And
So
individual company
yeah,
or
like for example, I know I have friends who have worked in oil and gas for 10 years.
Mhm.
They can't move,
Yeah.
right? So that's what I'm saying is if you spend, I would say, more than 5 years in a company,
Hmm.
then it will be difficult. The other thing I would definitely advise you is, let's say you are interested in materials
Hmm.
and you work in consumer product, or you work in oil and gas. So make sure your CV doesn't look like oil and gas, or your CV doesn't sound like you are all you are interested in making iPhone. You are you can project yourself or your CV as you are a materials guy,
Hmm.
and you can solve any materials problem. Doesn't matter. You
Hmm.
understand my point?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I see. Because then once you get in that, all your experience is based on that.
Yeah.
You're,
So when the way I try to do it is I graduate from material science, let's say, and when I approached to a job, I said, I'm a material scientist. I don't care what technology it is.
hmm.
And I can apply my knowledge and solve the problems there too.
Okay, yeah, yeah, and then
Understand my point?
yeah, yeah, and then it's just experience that you're using, not so much like
Yeah.
directly in the industry.
Right. So, the fundamentals of any materials, if I have to say again, going back, is the same, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, and then yeah, you will find it difficult. Let's say, for example, you will see around um, Cleveland, there are a lot of polymer companies,
Hmm.
and so there is a difficulty sometimes because, let's say, for example, my background is in the metals and ceramics and all that.
Hmm.
I can't work for a polymer company essentially. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
But I can find a company like Lockheed, like Rolls-Royce, like LG, who have some work in metals, who do
Hmm.
something. So,
Okay, yeah.
or for example, Apple or SpaceX or Tesla.
Hmm.
So you can go after the technology, and as I said, the easiest way I have found it is you don't label yourself as an oil and gas person, or you don't label yourself as a consumer electronic person. You label yourself as a material scientist. I said, I don't care what material it is. I can apply those fundamentals anywhere.
Yeah.
And then the manager or whoever is interviewing you, for them it's easy to understand how you are approaching.
Hmm. Yeah. And then you wouldn't get yourself stuck in a situation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Okay.
So, and that's one thing, and the other thing is, and I say that very often. If you look some of the videos in my channel, I talk about, if you are specialized in one area, it most likely will get stuck,
Hmm.
right? But if you have a background, as you're doing, like your minor in business, right?
Hmm.
If you look at business people, and if you are interested in the not in the R&D of a company, but implementation of that technology,
Hmm.
like a pre-tech sale. Also, sometimes people do that,
Yeah.
that sort of a thing. Essentially, an MBA is so versatile that you can work for a ketchup company, you can work for aerospace company, you can work for any company. MBAs are everywhere. It's so diverse.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you know first graduated? Did you know kind of what path you wanted to go, or did you just kind of find your way throughout?
Yeah. Usually, what happens is you find your way.
Okay.
So you say, oh, I like this opportunity. You go it, and then
Hmm.
after some time, you said, oh, I found this opportunity.
Hmm.
I don't think you can set a target like this versus this.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. And then let's see. So I'm interested in hearing. So at Lockheed, Rolls Royce, and LG, which one was? So were you just kind of throughout that time where you gradually getting to something that you wanted to work at more?
I don't think you can say which was my least favorite, because I worked there, I enjoyed it, and then I moved, and then I enjoyed that, and then I moved and I enjoyed that.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think there is no least or what, but I can definitely tell you one thing, which is I think was very important. So when I started working for Rolls-Royce and LG, I didn't work for the turbine and engine sector, which is like their well-established technology. I
Hmm.
was working for their startup called Fuel Cells.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was in up in Canton, Ohio, and that's how I
Hmm.
moved to Ohio actually. So essentially, I was working for an upcoming technology which was like a startup supported by Rolls-Royce and LG.
Hmm.
So we had people from Rolls-Royce and LG that were helping us out, but we were worked like a, as you can say, a startup entity. So
Okay.
what I realized from there is, I think in early of your career, if you can work for a startup, that's awesome, actually, because you are the one who will be doing everything.
Hmm.
And then working there for 5 6 years, then you can jump to a well-established companies
Hmm.
like Lockheed or somewhere, and I think then you can grow up pretty fast.
Hmm.
But there you can get so much experience, because if you get stuck to a company like Lockheed early in your career, then you will get stuck into like doing this like a small thing.
Hmm.
But if you work for a startup, trust me, you will be doing everything, like probably sweeping the floor.
Yeah.
But I literally doesn't mean that. But what I'm saying is you will be doing everything. Like probably you will be having meeting with CTOs and CEOs. But if you
Yeah.
go to a company like Lockheed, you never see the CEO ever in your life.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I remember I think I think it was a book I read. It was about how it was talking about how when hiring for like startups, they're like the best option is to hire people with a wide like span of skills and not so
Right.
much focused on like a single skill. And so yeah, that totally makes sense. And I've thought about that a little
And
bit.
also, a startup is also, that prepare you for the fear. Because, startup, when I worked it, we knew that this is not going to be successful. Actually, the day I interviewed, I asked, what is my career path? And the guy manager said, I don't know my career path. How can I tell you yours? I'm like, okay. But I then thought about it more. But then I realized is, I think it was a very good technology. So important thing is that the technology has to be good. You shouldn't go and work for a candy making startup. That's what I don't mean that.
Yeah.
Work for like any new electric vehicle company, like a startup or an electric planes startup.
Yeah.
There will be so many challenges there, so many, and they may fail, but you learn a lot. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
So like working for Tesla and SpaceX is a classic example.
Hmm.
Like you should be the first person jumping into the ship and work there for next 5 years, because they will grill you, they will suck your blood like nobody can suck it in ever. But after 5 years, trust me, if you come out from there,
Uh-huh.
you can survive anywhere, and you will be like this macho man that you will be doing such great things. Trust
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember in the video you were talking when you were interviewing the guy about that. He was like, yeah, they work so hard. And like, wow.
And no bullshit. So that's what I'm saying. That's what you need early career, like
Yeah.
that fear factor, that grill thing.
Hmm.
That's why they are so competitive, and I'm pretty sure people who. That's why people who work for McKinsey, like this consulting company, uh, they they don't work later on. Like first 10 years they get burn out, but after that you will see all these people. They become like a giant heads everywhere.
Hmm. Yeah.
So that's what how I approach, how I see that, and I think I'm not wrong, to be honest.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And then let's see. What was another question? Okay. So I guess you kind of answered the third question I asked about kind of the specialization and diversification. Because I know you did what was it? Mining engineering, civil engineering, MECE, and then WPBMA or M. Uh,
MBA. Yeah. So I actually that the way that happened is, so I did my mining engineering. I did my bachelor's from India, and then I came here, did my master's and PhD here. I think the kind of that pan out is there was something commonality between all these three degrees. Was I was always interested in materials.
Uh-huh.
So when I was in mining engineering, that's where I took a course on rock mechanics,
Hmm.
and I loved it.
Hmm.
And that's how I got interested into mechanics, like materials and mechanics. And then I went to doing civil engineering. I started, we studied geomechanics there. And then I realized, to be honest with you, mining is one of the oldest field before mechanical, right? So a lot
Yeah.
of principles and lot of mechanics or a lot of understanding of material came from there. So all those equations came to mechanical, and then they started studying alloys and all that. So I would say there is a commonality there. But
Mhm.
when I went to mechanical engineering and did my PhD first day, I was like an undergrad because I had no idea what metal is.
Yeah.
But that's also kind of a joy because nothing was boring. you
Yeah.
know
Yeah. Always learning something and experience.
Always, like, yeah, like first day I was like undergrad everywhere.
Yeah. Did you do all of that right? Did you go
No,
to,
right after.
okay, they were all like back to that. Okay. Okay.
I don't regret it. I think I was very determined finishing up education, to be honest.
Hmm.
Because I know, like, once you start going to a job, you won't go back. You don't. It's difficult going back to school,
Yeah. Yeah. I understand.
especially if you're doing like a PhD or something, because you can do part-time MBA, just what I'm doing, but you can't do part-time PhD.
Hmm. Yeah.
That's not a PhD, I think.
I feel
Yeah,
like a lot of professionals end up going back to get their master or MBA.
yeah. So, doing an MBA after you work in an industry for 3 years or four make perfect sense, to be honest.
Hmm.
Because, let's say if you have just a bachelor's, let's say,
Hmm.
not a PhD, and you want to climb up ladder,
Hmm.
doing MBA and going to that route and become a CEO of a company makes more sense. And because if you have a PhD, then you can become a VP for R&D or a
Hmm.
CTO or something.
Yeah.
But this other route is probably makes more sense for a lot of people. And then once you are working in a company for 3-4 years, you kind of started enjoying the um, the negotiation aspect of the work, and that's what you do. You will see you will do most of the time, and
Hmm.
talking to suppliers, contractors, understanding the contract, accounts, and all that. So
Hmm.
and if you are lucky enough, you work for a company who do international work, you probably traveling around the world, understanding international laws, international business, and all that. So
Hmm.
makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. And then let's see. Let's see. What like for me, like a junior at Case, I'm curious what you would think of someone like in my position, what you think would be the best way to kind of separate yourself from, all those other people applying for internships, trying to get jobs,
Hmm.
because mechanical engineering is competitive. There's a lot of people, going that route. So I'm just
Right.
interested to hear kind of, from a professional experience, like point of view, what you would
Yeah.
think.
So as I said, and if I look back 15 years back when I was undergrad, right?
Hmm.
Um, I think it's a really good thing if you can define your career from this point. So there will be two paths from here. One is either you go for a job or you go for higher studies.
Hmm.
So clear that out first,
Okay.
if you can.
Hmm.
Okay, whether my interest is going and I'm going to do a PhD, or I will be more interested in doing a job. So clear that out first.
Okay.
At the same time, I will also tell you doing a master's probably won't make sense rather than doing a PhD, because masters really don't add a value to your career, in my opinion. Like a bachelor's with 3 years of experience or 2 years of experience is same as masters,
Hmm.
right? So if somebody is thinking of going for higher studies, I meant by PhD.
Okay.
Okay. So if that is clear in your mind, that's step one. And I think this is the right time to understand how you do that. The way I did it is I started working with a professor in his lab,
Hmm.
and we started doing some research and all that, and I loved it. And at that moment, I decided I will have to do PhD. I will
Hmm.
go for doing PhD.
Hmm.
And I also know there were a couple of my friends who did that. They didn't like it,
Hmm.
and they said, "This is not for me." They went job, and then they started doing internships. And as you were saying.
Yeah.
So, but let's say if you are interested in doing an internship or something, I would say prepare yourself for internships and try to get internship in all these good companies.
Hmm.
Whatever you consider good is, to be honest, whether it's Lockheed, whether it's GE, more traditional companies,
Hmm.
Raytheon and all that, or more new, stylish ones, sexier ones, right? Your Teslas and SpaceX and Blue Origin and all that. That's other way to do that. And honestly, a person like you should be able to get those with your skill set. But
Hmm.
some of the videos you can watch how people have prepared for those internships, you will get a really good idea like how to prepare myself. Because
Hmm.
one thing for sure, if you look at those interviews, is they also talk about once you get internship, chances are if you do a good job, you can get the job right away.
Yeah.
Lockheed, that happens quite a lot. We have hired a lot of interns right away.
Hmm.
So if you want to go to that route, make sure you go to do internship. Make sure
Okay.
you do that, yeah, and prepare for that. This is the time right now where you apply for internships
Hmm. Yeah.
for summer. I posted a link on LinkedIn for the internship links at LinkedIn at Lockheed, or
Hmm.
you can just Google it, Lockheed career internships. You can
Hmm.
apply right away. But this, as I said, this is the time where you should be sending applications left and right for internships.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So again, but coming back to the point, I would say I don't know how much time you get with your studies and basketball and all that, but it may not be a bad idea to um, get into a lab with a professor and say, "Hey, I want to do some project in your lab or prepare or help something or or I'm interested in some research. I want to know how to do it. So I get access of your lab and work in the lab. Who
Hmm.
knows? You may like it, and because I know the guy I interviewed who did his internship. He's a PhD student at Georgia Tech, and you can speak to him also. I asked him like, you did internship, how come you then decided to go for PhD?
Hmm.
And he said, because internship told me that this is not what I want. I want to do this. So that's other way.
Yeah.
See, this is the time I think undergrad, the best thing that you can do is rather than sitting and staying in your dorm and doing something, expose yourself to as much as you can, because the more information you will have, the better idea you will have what you would like to do.
Hmm.
Like as I said, find a professor, and I know professor in material science actually. You can talk to them. Actually, I came there last year in January to give a seminar.
Okay.
Yeah,
At
and
Case.
yeah, at case in material science.
Uh-huh.
It's a very old building.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. They remodeled the like I think the top floor and it's like super nice though.
Oh,
It's
okay, okay.
I think they're working on that building.
It's a
It's
pretty
a
old
really
building.
nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but as I said, there are professors there who work in these areas, and you can talk to them. There's a professor called Aguirre. You can give my reference if you want. I have worked with him in the past.
Mhm.
Jeffrey, hang on, what's his name? Um, he works in the area of fuel cell. Actually, when I used to work for Rolls-Royce fuel cells and all that, I used to work with him from some project.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. What's his name? Yeah, material science, the faculty. Yeah, Frank Ernst is a good guy. He's the HOD. What's his? Yeah, Mark DeGuire. I can copy that actually. But Mark, he would be a nice person to
Mhm.
talk to. And I said you can give my reference if you want.
Okay. Great. Thank you.
Yeah, and he said I want to work in a lab. And if you look at it, if you Google his, actually I can copy here. You can take a look. He worked in the area of fuel cells and all that thing,
Okay.
and you can look at. So yeah, so I know Mark DeGuire, Jennifer I know,
Mhm.
um, but Mark is a good person. Alp is good one. This other guy, Alp.
Oh yeah, I had him for my chemistry and materials class freshman
Yeah,
year.
I think he is ceramics. He's on the ceramics ceramic. He works in the area of ceramic, electronic ceramics, which is a good area.
Hmm.
Yeah. So you can talk to him too. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for that.
Yeah, not a problem. As I said, Mark DeGoer, I know from a long time, so you can just tell him that I spoke to Amit, who told me that you worked together, and when you were in Rolls-Royce fuel cell systems up in
Uh-huh.
Canton, and he will recognize right away. Actually, he's the
Okay.
one who invited me for the seminar.
Really?
Yeah,
What was the seminar on?
fuel cells.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But as I said, Uh, so, as I said, expose yourself to new things as much as
Yeah.
you can, and maybe, work with Mark for one summer, and then work with Alp next summer. Who knows? And sometimes what happens if you're going to work with them, they may be able to send you to some conference. You will see a lot of professors there. You will meet them. As you said,
Hmm.
exposure. That's what you want. Exposure.
Hmm.
Try to see what is out there as much as you can. And
Hmm.
once you have all this exposure, then you can make the decision, and then you will be like, I know, I'm glad I didn't do that versus this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And
Um,
as I said, your tips on application,
yeah.
knowing someone would be the best thing. As I said, all I can do, if you find an internship in Lockheed,
Hmm.
just put me as a reference if you want. I can,
Thank you.
yeah, that can help probably. So knowing
Uh-huh.
someone is the best thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you find something at ATC, as Advanced Technology Center in California, that's where I work for. They work a lot of good stuff, a lot of secret stuff. You will probably love it. Yeah, so
What company was that? ATC?
no, it's within Lockheed, the division called ATC, Advanced Technology Center.
Oh, okay.
But I work for Lockheed Space, so we work on the space division. So Lockheed has four divisions: space, aero, like
Hmm.
F-16s and all that, and rotor and something, and there is another one. But I work for space, the one who they work on satellites and all this Artemis mission, moon mission, and all that.
Hmm.
Yeah, so you'll find a lot of those people working in that sort of area.
Okay.
Yeah,
Let me
and
see.
also I posted actually an internship that came yesterday from NASA. Apply that, dude.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I sent a link on my LinkedIn. So and keep looking at my LinkedIn because I keep posting stuff. Yeah, here is the link. So yeah, apply this. This just came yesterday, so make sure you apply.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah, you never know, you might be working at Goddard right next door.
Yeah. All
Yep.
right. And then let me see, where is that?
So as I said, look at all these companies. Make a list of those companies: Raytheon, Lockheed,
Mhm.
GE. Look at the um, automotive companies: GM, Tesla, and
Mhm.
all that, and then space companies: Blue Origin, SpaceX, Lockheed. Um, then there are so many, to be honest. I can
Okay.
just, just make a list of based on your research and all that, and just go for them.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Don't stay home and do nothing for summer.
yeah.
I mean, you can always play basketball, but what I'm saying, if that is what you want to do for job, you want to become a
Yeah.
basketball player, that's fine. But if you want to do this for the job, that's where you need to go.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I tried doing that this summer. I had an internship lined up here in Columbus, and then it got canceled because of COVID, and so
Yeah.
I was stuck
Oh yeah,
without
I
an
mean
internship.
that happened to a lot. But if you work for, I remember I was interviewing a person at Carnegie Mellon. So a lot of these companies, like I had a couple of interns that I was mentoring from Lockheed.
Hmm.
They didn't cancel it. They did this work virtual.
Hmm.
So what I'm saying, if you have big companies, they said we'll go virtual. That's
Hmm.
fine.
Yeah. Because I
Yeah.
think Microsoft and Google, I think they both went virtual for next summer's internships. So
Oh, okay, okay.
they
Oh yeah,
committed
that could be
to.
possible. But trust me, if you work for Tesla and they don't want virtual, they said come.
Yeah.
which is good actually, to be honest. I hated virtual.
Yeah, yeah, it's difficult for sure.
Yeah, I mean, what you want to learn virtual, like staring your computer, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see, where was that? Um, what's that? Let's see. What kind of projects are you working on right now at Lockheed? You said you
Yeah,
for the space division, right?
yeah. Yeah, so I really can't talk much about publicly,
Sure.
right?
Okay.
But
Yeah.
I think I can say good projects. How about
Good
that?
projects. That sounds fun.
Yeah, yeah. Good projects. A lot of projects that are upcoming and recent. And I think I wrote this somewhere is um, space. So I think in like how should I say that? But I think space is the new hot area that anybody wants to work now. All the
Hmm.
new work that is going on, and new challenges and new learning and new ideas, and his space is really hot.
Hmm.
Yeah, so as I said, it doesn't matter whether you work for SpaceX or Blue Origin or Northrop Grumman or Boeing. If you are in that space division, I think you will be really excited every day, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Hmm. Do you think there's a difference? So Case has there's like a Mechie Arrow double major. I'm interested. Do you think so right now I'm just mechanical with the minor in management. I wasn't planning on going the Arrow. And then this past year I started kind of, showing some interest in sectors like that, like drones and such. Do you think it would be beneficial to maybe try to go for that double major with a Mechie Arrow? Because I know a lot of schools don't have the Arrow, and so a lot of people are just looking for mechanical engineers or aerospace engineers. Do you think it would be worth it to go for the Arrow as well?
I mean, to be honest with you, it depends on what you want to do. Because here's the thing. Um, I think you should first think of yourself like what interests you, right? So let's say
Hmm.
if materials interest you, materials, which is a very broad topic. And
Yeah.
as I said, you can work in a um, aero company, an automotive company, and any company. Then uh, at the same time, mechanical engineering students also do a lot of work on fluid dynamics.
Hmm.
You can do the same thing in aerospace, right? So, and if you want to understand propulsion, I'm pretty sure the type of propulsion studies that aero people do is different than the mechanical ones, like
Uh-huh.
more thermodynamics related. So again, what interests you, that's what I'm saying. But if you like many people are passionate about aerospace,
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, there is no doubt you should do that. But that really boils down to that, like what you're passionate about, what you're going to get out of it, what new courses are there that you will not learn had you will be in just in mechanical, and whether that is important to you,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
But definitely I will tell you for sure is if let's say you see your future and you want to work in aerospace companies, let's
Hmm.
say, put it this way, definitely having a minor in aerospace would make a difference, would add up a lot of value, for
Okay.
sure. Yeah. But if you want to work for automotive company, let's say like Tesla, right?
Yeah.
Or GM, like, so what
Hmm.
then?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But if you feel like this is something that you can add on and is fine with you, then there's no harm in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then you have to leave your business degree, or you still can pursue it.
That's what that's what I was kind of thinking about. I was wondering because it's easy to get the management minor. It's also fairly easy. So I think I could, like, the course load isn't too bad. And so I was thinking maybe I could pull that off. But I'm doing the minor as well as the double major, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Plan on maybe talking to my advisor about that.
I mean, if you look from just a job perspective, I would say, right?
Mhm.
And what you are interested, as I said, that's what so if you say, what is my end goal here? So if your end goal is to get a job in SpaceX. Let's put it this way. And that's why I will say bring that clarity in your mind as soon as possible. If that's your goal, is definitely having a Mackie and Aero will make more sense to for you to land there, no doubt in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
But if your perspective is hey, I don't want to get stuck and I want to make sure I'm open to do other things too,
Mm-hmm.
then having a Mickey and a business major probably make more sense.
Okay. Yeah. Um, this is kind of on my CV. So did you think there was anything, like, did you have any recommendations on, something I shouldn't include, something I should include, something I should change about the CV, for like applying for internships at the moment?
Just 1 second.
Mhm.
So I think your CV is fine. I don't see you should not include anything.
Okay.
Yeah, I think your CV is fine. If you I remember one thing that person said in one of the intern interview, which I took. He said if you want a internship in SpaceX and Lockheed, and I'm pretty sure that's true for a lot of companies. They are you involved in some sort of a Baja team,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
which I don't see here.
I
Uh,
I have it for I think
yeah,
2019.
you have it, Baja SE.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
but
was only able to be part of it for a couple months because of
yeah,
basketball season started. I wasn't able to, but um,
right. But what I'm saying is, then probably you can expand this further. What you did, like remember they talked about problem solving ability because they're going to ask you that,
mhm.
and more so that might be true for a lot of companies. I mean, they would be excited that you are a basketball player, but you have to work there not to play basketball, right? So they
Yeah,
probably will. They're probably going to ask you, okay, what problem you have solved, what courses you have to. Your CPA is good, so that's a good thing.
Mhm.
But more like, do you have any sort of? But you have internships, right? So explore those. Like, but you have travel merchandise. You don't have a technology company here, right?
The EMS adhesives
Yeah,
engineer.
yeah. So yeah, so I would say definitely I would say here, what did you do? Like what problem did you solve? Like, engineering, you have to understand. Engineering, these are engineering companies.
Yeah,
You don't say like I took package from this table and put in this table. you,
yeah, yeah.
you know what I mean?
Like, wow, this
Engine,
guy's a good mechanical engineer for that.
I know. It's like, dude, how much pound was that? It's like so problem solving. So highlight that, like what there was a problem in there and I was able to solve it. I deep dive in there rather than saying,
Mhm.
don't be too vague. I mean, even if there's just one problem that you worked on, so when you went there you got a problem, right? And then you deep dive in. So try to explain those things rather than, as I said, I took 20 pounds and I lifted it and I then went home.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because they are engineering companies, they want to see what problem did you solve,
Mhm.
what instrument did you use. Like in lab technician you have written, right? I analyze the impact of change of chemistry, cross-link substrate, utilize the instron universal tester and HTM protocols. So what
Mhm.
material did you tested? What did you find that after that? Did you made a report? That sort of a thing. I mean,
Yeah,
more engineering sort of a thing.
yeah. Okay.
I mean, and other thing, extra category, these are fine, all that. But what I'm saying, your internship should not, description of your internship should not look like extracurricular,
Like a what?
like extracurricular.
Okay,
Like,
yeah.
yeah, like, I served hot meals to all people.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
You understand what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I totally get it. Kind of start saying like your problem solving
It,
ideas for
it
companies. Yeah.
has to be more engineering, more, you should
Yeah.
come out as an engineer. Like, what did you do there? Like, and don't be vague because engineering is analytical. 1 + 1 is 2. You can't say I measured this. No, 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 no.
Mhm.
like what did you measure, what material it was, when you measured, what did you find. Try to explain that. If you, even if you have to write a paragraph,
Hmm.
like a 5 line or maybe 6 line paragraph, but then you can clearly define it and it has a lot of description which sounds like an engineering paragraph, that would be awesome.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. And then, as I said, you can also do one thing. You can, rather than saying professional experience, you can write up down as, um, you know, engineering internships or something, or engineering,
Okay.
industry experience, engineering, or something like an industry experience, and all
Yeah.
this travel merchandise and member service representative, either take it off
Uh-huh.
or put it somewhere, I don't know, where nobody can see it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. This CV should come out as a CV. That's why I said, for you, working in a lab would probably make more sense, because that brings a lot of that sort of description thing, you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And even as I said, you said see Baha team, right? So what did you came out? Did you machined a new gear? Did
Mhm.
you made up a design? What was that design? What software did you use? As I said, it should go right to the point.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.